The Scottish Highlands, land of myth and legend, a place where the wind howls secrets through ancient stones, where the lochs, dark and deep, hold mysteries best left undisturbed. Loch Morar, the deepest freshwater body in the British Isles, a place of profound beauty and bone-chilling dread. A low moan echoed across the water, carried on the wind. Was it the cry of a seabird, or something else? Something far older, far stranger? The hairs on the back of your neck prickled, your senses sharpened. You weren't alone. The whisper came again, barely audible above the crashing waves. A name, spoken in a language you couldn't understand. Yet it resonated deep within you, stirring a primal fear. The fog seemed to press closer, suffocating, as if the very air itself were watching, waiting. You quickened your pace, the sand shifting beneath your feet. The whispers grew louder now, a chorus of voices rising from the depths. They seemed to be calling to you, beckoning you closer to the water's edge. The dark silhouette of the loch stretched before you, an inky void swallowing the moonlight. What secrets lay hidden beneath its placid surface? What ancient evil slumbered in its cold, dark heart? The waves crashed against the shore with a ferocity that belied the stillness of the night, each surge a thunderous roar echoing across the empty beach. The sound resonated deep in your chest, a physical reminder of the untamed power of the sea. The wind whipped the fog into a frenzy, sending tendrils of mist snaking around your legs like spectral hands. It carried with it the scent of salt and decay, a pungent aroma that spoke of things lost and forgotten beneath the waves. The air grew colder, the dampness seeping into your clothes, chilling you to the bone. Above, the moon offered no warmth, its pale light swallowed by the swirling grey. It cast an eerie, almost sickly glow on the water, transforming the gentle ripples into a monstrous, ever-shifting canvas. Every shadow seemed to writhe and contort, taking on a life of its own. You pressed on, the sand firm beneath your feet, the only constant in this ever-changing dreamscape. But the rhythm of your steps was losing its battle against the cacophony of the night. The whispers grew stronger, vying for your attention, weaving themselves into the fabric of the wind and waves. You weren't alone. In the shifting mists ahead, a set of footprints materialized. They weren't yours. These prints were larger, deeper, made with a heavy tread that spoke of an unnatural strength. They led towards the water's edge, disappearing into the swirling grey abyss. Panic welled in your throat, a primal instinct urging you to turn back, to flee from this haunted shore. But something held you rooted to the spot, a morbid curiosity that whispered of secrets buried beneath the waves. Secrets that someone or something wanted you to find. You followed the trail, each step filled with a growing sense of unease. The whispers intensified, swirling around you, their voices a mixture of guttural growls and mournful cries. They seemed to be drawing you towards the water, towards the heart of the mystery. The fog parted for a fleeting moment, revealing a glimpse of something dark and massive rising from the water. It was only a fleeting image, gone as quickly as it appeared, swallowed once more by the swirling grey. But it was enough to send a shiver down your spine, a primal fear gripping your heart. The whispers began to take on a clearer form, morphing from indistinct murmurs into recognizable words. A name echoed through the fog, spoken in a voice both ancient and filled with a chilling sorrow. Morag. Morag. The hair on the back of your neck stood on end. Morag. The name of the loch itself. But also, legend had it, the name of something else. Something that dwelled in the deepest, darkest depths of the water. Something ancient and powerful. Something that should not be disturbed. The fog pulsed around you, a living entity, drawing you closer to the water's edge. And then, for a horrifying instant, the moon broke free of the clouds, bathing the beach in an ethereal light. The footprints in the sand led directly to a figure standing at the water's edge, tall, skeletal, draped in tattered rags that billowed in the wind. Its head was shrouded in shadow, but 2 points of emerald-green fire burned within the darkness, fixated on you. The figure extended a long skeletal arm towards you, a single word escaping its lips, rasping and filled with an otherworldly hunger. "Come." The fog, now thick as a shroud, became a stage for a macabre ballet of shadows. They twisted and writhed, growing larger than life in the dim moonlight. Each gust of wind brought new phantoms, their forms shifting and morphing, never fully revealing their true nature. A flicker of movement at the edge of your vision sent a jolt of adrenaline through you, a fleeting glimpse of a towering figure, all sharp angles and ragged edges, disappearing back into the fog as quickly as it had appeared. Was it real or a figment of your increasingly frayed nerves? The whispers intensified, slithering around you like vipers in the grass. They spoke of ancient rituals, of sacrifices made to appease the wrath of the Loch. Each word chipped away at your resolve, amplifying the fear that gnawed at your insides. You stumbled backwards, desperate to escape the suffocating press of the fog, the ever-watching shadows, and the whispers that burrowed into your mind like parasites. But the beach stretched endlessly in both directions, offering no sanctuary, no escape from the growing sense of dread that enveloped you. The fog pressed closer, a cold, damp hand against your skin. It seeped into your clothes, chilling you to the bone, a physical manifestation of the fear that had sunk its claws into your heart. The air grew heavy, making it hard to breathe, as if the fog itself were trying to suffocate you. You stumbled blindly through the swirling grey, the sand shifting beneath your feet, offering no solid ground. Each breath sent a tremor through your body, a mixture of cold and terror that tightened its grip with every passing moment. The whispers were all around you now, whispering your name, their voices a chorus of the damned, echoing from the depths of the loch and the darkest recesses of your mind. They spoke of forgotten gods and ancient evils, of sacrifices made to appease the hunger of the deep. Panic threatened to overwhelm you, the urge to run, to scream into the night almost unbearable. But something held you back, a strange magnetism that drew you closer to the water's edge, towards the heart of the mystery that unfolded before you. The whispers grew louder, more insistent, urging you towards the water's edge. You felt an inexplicable pull, a siren song that echoed in the rhythm of the waves, in the beat of your own terrified heart. The moon broke free of the clouds, casting a long silvery finger across the water. In its ethereal glow, you saw it, a small boat adrift on the water, bobbing gently with the current. It beckoned you closer, promising escape from the nightmare unfolding on the shore. Hope flickered within you, a fragile flame in the face of the overwhelming darkness. Could this be your salvation? A way out of this nightmare? You took a hesitant step towards the water, the sand cold and wet beneath your feet. The whispers seemed to soften, their tone shifting from menacing to encouraging, urging you towards the waiting vessel. But as you drew closer, a new sound reached your ears, cutting through the fog and the whispers. A low, guttural growl, filled with an ancient hunger, rising from the depths of the loch. The boat rocked violently, its peaceful facade shattered, as something large and unseen stirred beneath its surface. The moon, a silver coin tossed carelessly into the vast expanse of the night, emerged from behind a veil of churning clouds. Its light, cold and unforgiving, painted the landscape with stark contrasts, transforming the familiar into the grotesque. The rolling waves, moments ago a churning mass of shadows, now glittered with an almost unnatural luminescence, their crests tipped with an eerie phosphorescent glow. On the beach, the scattered rocks, worn smooth by centuries of relentless tides, morphed into hunched figures, their long shadows stretching toward you like grasping claws. The very sand beneath your feet seemed to shimmer and writhe, each grain of quartz transformed into a tiny, malevolent eye, watching your every move. The whispers, momentarily subdued by the sudden influx of light, began to rise again, their tones laced with a chilling amusement, as if they were enjoying a private joke at your expense. They swirled around you, a symphony of whispers rustling like dead leaves in the wind, echoing the pounding of your heart. You stumbled back from the water's edge, the image of the monstrous shape beneath the surface seared into your mind. The boat, no longer a beacon of hope, now seemed a fragile, insignificant thing, tossed about like a child's toy in the grip of an unseen force. The shadows stretched out before you, long and distorted in the moonlight, mimicking your every move. They seemed to have a life of their own, twisting and contorting into grotesque parodies of human forms. A long, spindly shadow, its edges blurring into the fog, stretched out from behind a rocky outcrop, its form vaguely humanoid yet impossibly elongated, its movements jerky and unnatural. You froze, your breath catching in your throat, and stared at the monstrous silhouette. It towered over you, its edges flickering in the shifting light, its true nature obscured by the darkness and the swirling mist. The whispers seemed to emanate from the shadow itself, their tones filled with a mocking amusement, daring you to step closer, to uncover the truth hidden within its depths. You took a step back, your heart pounding against your ribs like a trapped bird. The shadow remained still, its form unwavering, its presence exuding an aura of menace that sent shivers crawling down your spine. It felt ancient, powerful, and infinitely patient, content to watch you, to toy with your fear, to draw you deeper into its web of shadows and whispers. The moon, as if sensing your growing terror, slipped behind another bank of clouds, plunging the beach back into darkness. The shadow vanished, swallowed once more by the swirling fog, leaving you alone with the echoing whispers and the chilling certainty that you were not alone. As your eyes adjusted to the darkness, you realized the shadows had not disappeared entirely. They lingered at the edges of your vision, clinging to the fringes of the moonlight that still managed to pierce the swirling fog. But these were not the dancing, distorted shadows cast by the moon. These shadows were different. They were darker, denser, imbued with a depth and richness that spoke of something more than the mere absence of light. These shadows moved with a purpose, flowing across the sand like ink staining a page. They swirled and coalesced around the base of the cliffs, forming pools of impenetrable darkness that seemed to pulse with a life of their own. You could sense them watching you, their attention unwavering, their presence a tangible weight upon your chest. The whispers, now emanating from the heart of these living shadows, carried a new note of urgency. They spoke of a presence awakening, of an ancient power stirring from its slumber. They spoke of a hunger that stretched back eons, a hunger that could not be satiated, only temporarily appeased. Terror, cold and sharp as a shard of ice, pierced through your fear. The whispers were right. You were not alone. Something was out there, hidden in the fog, shrouded in shadows, something ancient and malevolent, its hunger growing with each passing moment. And it was drawing closer. The ground beneath your feet felt different, unstable. The fine, packed sand of the beach gave way to something coarser, more granular. You looked down and saw that the sand had darkened, becoming almost black, and was flecked with an oily, iridescent sheen. It glistened unnaturally in the moonlight, like shattered obsidian. Panic welled up inside you, a cold fist clenching around your heart. The whispers intensified, a cacophony of voices swirling around you, pulling you down, dragging you towards the water's edge. Their words were unintelligible, but their intent was clear. They wanted you in the water. You tried to turn, to run back the way you came, but your feet felt heavy, rooted to the spot. The sand seemed to cling to your shoes, holding you fast. A low growl echoed across the beach, guttural and primal, sending a tremor through your entire body. It was close, too close. The moon, as if sensing your desperation, slipped fully behind the clouds, plunging the beach into an almost absolute darkness. The shadows around you seemed to deepen, to solidify, taking on a more menacing, almost tangible form. You were no longer alone on the beach. You were surrounded. In the suffocating blackness, your other senses sharpened, heightened to the point of pain. The salty tang of the sea air was overpowering, mixed with a new, sickeningly sweet aroma that sent waves of nausea rolling through you. The crashing of the waves, once a distant roar, was now deafening, each surge a thunderous assault on your senses. And then you saw them, points of emerald green fire, like the embers of a dying fire, glowing in the heart of the darkness. They flickered all around you, dozens of them, moving independently, yet with a terrifying synchronicity. They were eyes, you realized, watching you, tracking your every move. The growls came again, closer this time, accompanied by a low, guttural hissing that seemed to vibrate in your very bones. Something brushed past you in the darkness, its form indiscernible, but its presence undeniably real. You caught a fleeting glimpse of glistening scales, the flash of a razor-sharp claw, and then it was gone. Swallowed once more by the shadows, terror, raw and primal, seized you. You thrashed against the unseen grip that held you, your screams lost in the roar of the waves and the cacophony of whispers that now seemed to be inside your head, echoing in the cavernous spaces of your own skull. You were trapped. The sand beneath your feet had transformed into a thick, viscous mud, sucking at your shoes, pulling you down. You tried to pull free, but every movement only served to drag you deeper. The whispers were a chorus of triumph now, a symphony of your impending doom. The green eyes were all around you now, closing in, their glow illuminating the grotesque, serpentine forms that slithered and writhed in the darkness. Their bodies were long and sinuous, covered in slick obsidian scales that shimmered even in the faint moonlight that occasionally pierced the cloud cover. Their heads were triangular, almost reptilian, with gaping maws filled with rows of needle-sharp teeth. You caught a glimpse of the monstrous figure that had stood at the water's edge, its skeletal frame now draped in the shadows of the creatures that surrounded you, its own glowing eyes burning with an ancient hunger. It extended a hand towards you, its touch promising not salvation, but a fate far worse than death. The whispers reached a fever pitch, their voices merging into a single bone-jarring shriek that seemed to split the very heavens. And then, with a final, desperate surge, you were pulled down, swallowed whole by the darkness, the chilling laughter of the creatures echoing in your ears as the cold, black water closed over your head. There would be no escape. The whispers faded, the shadows retreated. The beach, once a stage for unimaginable horrors, lay still under the watchful gaze of the moon, which had finally wrestled free of the cloud's embrace. Its pale light painted the sand silver, erasing the evidence of the struggle, the footprints, the oily sheen, as if it had all been a figment of a nightmare. The waves continued their relentless assault on the shore, the rhythm of their crashing a constant, reassuring presence in the newly returned silence. They seemed to whisper a solemn dirge, a lament for something lost, something sacrificed to the hunger of the deep. The fog, as if embarrassed by its role in the night's terrors, began to dissipate, revealing the stark beauty of the Scottish coast. But the silence was deceptive. It was not the peaceful quiet of a world untouched by darkness, but the heavy stillness of a graveyard, the hushed breath before a storm. The air, though clear, still held a faint metallic tang, a lingering reminder of the creatures that lurked beneath the surface, waiting for the next unsuspecting soul to stray too close to the water's edge. The beach, once an inviting expanse of sand and sea, was now a place of dread, forever tainted by the knowledge of what lay hidden beneath its surface. The whispers might have faded, but their echoes lingered in the depths of your mind, a constant reminder of the ancient, primal fear that lurked just beyond the veil of reality. You would never forget this night. The image of the glowing eyes, the feel of the shifting sand beneath your feet, the sound of the creature's rasping breaths, all remained etched into your memory, a haunting reminder of the fragility of your own existence. The world, once a place of comfort and familiarity, now held an undercurrent of fear, a lurking suspicion that the darkness you had witnessed on the shores of Loch Morar was not an isolated incident, but a glimpse into a far older, far more terrifying reality that lay hidden beneath the surface of the everyday. You would never look at a moonlit beach the same way again. The gentle lapping of waves would forever evoke the memory of unseen creatures stirring in the depths. And the whispers, though silenced for now, would continue to echo in the darkest corners of your mind, a chilling reminder that some secrets are best left undisturbed, some depths better left unexplored. The legend of Loch Morar, once a tale whispered around campfires, had become all too real. It was a cautionary tale, a warning that some places held a power that defied human comprehension, a power that could consume the unwary, leaving behind only whispers and shadows. And as you turned your back on the loch, the first rays of dawn painting the sky with hues of purple and orange, you couldn't shake the feeling that something was watching you, its unseen gaze following your every move. The experience had changed you, marked you with an invisible brand that set you apart from the rest of humanity. You had looked into the abyss, and the abyss had looked back.